Today I'm going to show you how to make this. Hello and welcome to my channel. Kaz here. He's a Grinch inspired gnome. He has a lovely tall hat which you can put a pom-pom on. I've got a G from my stash for Grinch. He's got long arms which you can bend to a certain extent. Beautiful boopy nose and a lovely long beard. So let's get going. For this project you're going to need your yarn. So I'm using red, white and a limey green colour. That's Aran. I believe this is a DK, but it is slightly thicker than a DK. You're going to need a wooden ball for his nose and a little bit of green felt to cover it in. The last one I used some yarn, I knitted up, but this time I'm going to go with some felt. Going to need some long furry green fabric for his beard. Okay, and the size of that is 4 inches wide by 3.5 inches long, and this is an offcut I bought from Amazon. They were selling off ends of various types and I didn't know what I was going to get, but this one came and I thought, yay, I know what I'm going to do with that. So here we go. So that's for his beard. You're going to need a glue gun, some weighted poly beads. I've got about 1/4 cup there of poly beads. You're going to need 2 14cm curlers and a pipe cleaner, a pom-pom for the top of the hat, or small bauble of a Christmas tree. To start our project we need to cast on as normal and do 70 rows. Just coming up to the end of 70 rows. 70 rows, awesome. Cut a yarn tail, about 12 inches in my case, and we cast off. And there's the body of our Grinchy gnome. And now we're going to knit the hat. We're going to cast on and do 35 rows in red. "20 rows in white and 35 in red to finish off. So that's 35 red, 20 white, 35 red. Off we go. Let's zero our clock first. "34 rows, coming up to 35. Yes, 35. There we go. So we cut our yarn and we grab our white yarn now. Move that from there and we'll add in our white. So I just wrap it around the needle 1 into the yarn feeder, and we're going to do 20 rows now. So make sure that's catching. I put a little tie in it there just to make sure nothing unravels, and to remind me to tie it together later. And we're going to do 20 rows now, which takes us to 55 rows. Coming up to 55 rows now. 55, snip, throw it into the centre, grab our red, do what we did before, wrap it over, back into the yarn feeder. Make sure it's being caught as it goes around. A little knot to secure. We'll secure that again later. And we carry on now until we get to 90 rows. Going up to 90 rows now, 89, and we're at 90, and cast off time. That's our hat cast off, and now we'll go to assembly. Next we take the body of our gnome and stretch him out, lovely, and we do what is basically a mini beanie again. Secure it inside, drop the excess off, and there we go. There's our finished end. What we need now are our two curlers, and these are 14 centimeters one, and these are 14 centimeters ones. These are 14 centimeter ones. And what we need to do is we need to cut about 1.5 to 2 inches off the end of our curler here to reveal the metal inside. So I'm going to do about 1.5 inches actually, okay? So I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to just roughly go around there. There we go. And then we can see that. And the same on this side again. If I turn the rule around the right way, that is. 1.5 inches, it's roughly there. It hasn't got to be spot on the mark. It'll okay. Now then what we need to do is to remove this plastic section in here. This little plastic end, which can be a little on the fiddly side. So bear with me when I get my little snippy things to open that metal bit up a little bit. There we go. And slip that off, okay, so keep that for another project or something. And pull this off. And my dog barking again, and there you can see you have that with that little bar at the end. So we need to do that with the other one. There we go. Now then we have these two pieces here, and these are going to be our arms, okay? So we need a little bit more fur fabric. So move these things out of the way, including his beard. And I've got my hot glue gun on the go, ready, warming up. Now this piece of faux fur lime green fabric is approximately 3.5 inches wide, and this is how it came, okay? So luckily enough, one piece there, this length, or this width rather, will do the two arms, okay? So you need to leave a little bit, about 1 centimeter at the end there, 1/2 inch, and we're going to cut to roughly there. Now remember, when you're cutting a faux fur fabric, not to actually cut the fur, just to cut the liner inside. So we're just going to cut that. And this is fabulous faux fur fabric, really long and really Grinchy like. So there we go. Pull it apart, put this aside for hopefully another Grinchy. There we go. So there's his. Remember now which way the pile is going, okay? Because you want it to go down his arms that way, otherwise it's going to be flopping up the wrong way. Okay, so when we glue it, we need to remember the top and the bottom. So roughly half of this it's about 9 centimeters. So 4.5 is easy to do in inches or centimeters. Oh, actually it's about 4, so I'm going to do it at about 2 then. I'm going to mark it at about 2. I'll do the same again. Mark it about 2. And then mark it about 2 there. Now this one seems to have a bit of a black line running through it, which I like, and whether that's because it's second or whether it's part of the pattern, I'm not quite sure, but I quite like it. So again, cutting through the back of the faux fur fabric, not the actual fur itself. And then we'll have 2 pieces to glue our arms together. There we are, 2 pieces, okay? So shake off the excess fur, because it will be excess furry. There we go, so you can get the pile to go down that way there. You see, brush the pile down that way on that one. And down that way on that one. So now we know where our arms are going to go. Okay, so that's the bottom of the arm. So the bottom of the arm needs to go where the fur is falling off. Okay, so with our glue gun, we just run a bead along there like that. And we're going to put our arm in there like that. Squish him down for a couple of seconds till he sets a little bit. And then A little bit more there, a little bit more there. Oops, a little bit on the end, and then try not to burn your fingers, okay, because this thing is cruel. We roll it like a sausage roll and stretch the fabric a little bit at the same time to squish them all together. There we go. Like making a sausage roll out of rubber and fur fabric. So there we go. Now then, on the join, you're going to have maybe a little gap or a little bit of roughness. I can't live with that. So I'm going to run another little bit of hot glue down the middle there. And I'm going to squidge them together and bring that fur together. And that should cover any anomalies in the join. Give that a couple of minutes to set. And in the meantime, I'm not going to bother with fingers or anything like that because our Grinchy gnome has got fingers hidden inside his long fur. So we're going to, with that little pocket there, another little bit of squidgy hot glue in there. And squidge him together. And there's our one Grinchy arm. So we'll do the other one now. And now we have our two Grinchy arms, okay? All sealed up, all done, all covered up, looking lovely. You will have faux fur everywhere, okay? Now the seal there is nice and tidy, okay? Because we brought the fur together to hide that seam. So keep that seam on the bottom when we do the next part. I didn't realise when I bought these that they're so small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in some plastic wrap and make sure that they can't escape out of the bottom of this knitted fabric, because I'm sure they will, because they are so small. I would like to use like a muslin or something like that, a little muslin bag, but excuse the sellotape, and we'll just put a little bit of sellotape over there, and we've got ourselves a little bag of weight. Okay, so we pop that in the bottom just as a, so if you have something a little less environmentally horrible, like the plastic, and so, see, look, they're popping through, look, all the loose ones. So there we go. And next we're going to put our arms on. We're going to probably do that about 2.5 to 3 inches up the body of our gnome. Okay, so 2.5, yeah, about 2.5 inches up is roughly there. So we thread one arm through there, which will come up just above our bunch of packaging there. There we go, and we get the other one, and opposite we'll thread him in as well. Yeah, he's about right. And inside then, hope you can see, you'll have these two arm hooks, and you will hook one into the other like that, simples. And then get a little snip, sort of pliers or something, and squeeze that shut like that, so they can't come apart. Try not to cut your fingers. There we go. So that's nice and tight there. They are hooked together firmly there inside, ready for us to stuff next. Pushing the weights down on the bottom there, and we'll get our stuffy stuffing. Take a small piece so I can make sure I can shove it underneath our gnomie's arms and make sure that it's all safe and secure under there. So we just stuff our gnomie now, however plump you would like him to be. I quite like a plumpy gnome myself. A little bit more stuff in, I think. You know, a little Grinchy man. There we are, he's quite plump and he's quite full. So we're going to seal up the top now with some green yarn. So we just stitch across the top. And then we just pull our gnome closed, pushing the stuffing down. Tie him closed, sticking care not to break the yarn. That would not be good. There we are, a few stitches now in the top. And then we'll hide our yarn in the body of our Grinch gnome. There he is so far. After assembling our Grinch body, we need to cover his nose. I'm using a little piece of green leftover felt from a previous project. You could paint it green or you could just use it plain if you wanted to, but so I'm going to just do a little running stitch around here. So the next stage is to attach our gnome nose. So here is our gnome nose, nice and green. Length of green yarn, and I'm going to poke it through there like that. Where the darning needle, which is a bit tight, which is good. So roughly there, in between his arms, is where I want to put my gnome nose. So poking through, which is, because he's quite densely filled, this one. And we will pop him through. There we go, our way through. That's that side. And then there. On that side. There we go. And we can pull our gnome nose in. Remember, put a little bit of glue on him at a later stage, but right now that's okay. And we'll tie him off at the back and hide our strings inside our body. So a little bit of a, there we go, that's okay for now. Because we won't see any of this once the hat is fitted anyway, so we'll just do a couple of knots. And we'll hide it inside our work. So there's our Grinchy with his Grinchy nose. There we are. Okay. So next step is the beard. So we pop him up there. This is our beard. And our beard is 4 inches wide by 3.5 inches long. Okay, so make sure that the pile of the beard is going downwards because we're going to fit it a little like that. Okay, now then, in order to go around his nose, fold it in half. There we are, and mark our centre line. I did one there was slightly off, so there we go, we redid it. Okay, so that's a little better. So what we need to do now around our centre mark is to cut out a little shape using just the back of the, so we'll take out a little U shape, and I'll show you why now. And you can keep that because you never know when you want a little bit of green fluff for the top of a pom-pom or something like that. There we go. So this is what we end up with, is that square with a U shape cut out. Okay, now then, I'm not going to shape him, I'm not going to curve these or anything. You can if you want to. I'm just going to pop it on and glue it all down. Okay, so we get our gnome working quickly. We need to put a blob of glue around there like that. Okay, Now I'm going to, without trying to burn me fingies, under his nose and bring it right up around his nose. Up around like that. Pushing it right down under his nose. And we will, because there's stretch in this fur fabric, we will bring it right up there and join it above the nose so that there's no gap whatsoever, okay? So now we've done that. While that's setting, that's a little longer. More glue again. A little bit of glue there. There we go. A little bit of glue there. Do the two sides together. And bring them up and around. Glue them right in like that. Hope you can see what I'm doing there. Pushing it around his nose, watching your fingers. If you've got those guards that come with many of these glue guns, they're handy to use, okay? So at the moment now, he's all glued up all the way around his nose, and we can keep on going. So I'll just go under here now with a bit more of this magic-y glue stuff around the edge like that, and pop it down. The same the other side. Hot glue, watching your fingers. I know, because I have burnt myself a few times. Just a little bit of hot glue and squidging down. There we are, and there we are. Leave him set for a few secs. He's looking cute already. I don't like seeing the edges of the fur fabric, so I like to put a little bit of glue around the top like that, and I like to squidge the fur up and let the fur stick to the yarn, and we can tidy all these little bits up in a minute. And the same, separate his arm off a little bit's got stuck. Same there, if you can see the edge of the fur fabric, and I don't like that. So what I do is I pull all the fur back, little bit of glue around there like that, and squish the fur down into it, and that'll fill that up. And the same this side. He's a hairy little monster, this one. And we'll do that all the way around. Separating his arm fluff, which I've inadvertently stuck under there. No problem. So be careful of that, but it does separate pretty well. So we'll do that on the actual yarny part. Hold his arm back, and we'll stick the fur down there. Which seals it all. And as we hear with the glue gun, there will be a gap in his arm there, so we can pull the arm down and a blob of glue in there and secure his arm, making sure that that seam is at the bottom of the arm, okay? And the same this side. There's going to be a gap there, see? A little gap, which is fine. We'll try and pull that apart a little bit of glue in there, and squeeze it in, making sure that the seam is as near down to the bottom as you can, but it's not the end of the world if it's not. Now there's a little bit there that's a little loose, so me being me, I need to put a little glue in there and glue that down. I'm bringing fur up, and that will hide any miniature gaps. And again, probably under there now, you can see the fur fabric is lifting a little because I've not glued it yet. So put a little bead of glue and a little bit on the yarny bit, which will bring it down, puff that out, and smooth it all down. There we go. Now he is going to molt a little bit because this is super furry fabric. So on with the hat. If we turn him inside out, because we've got some joins between the red and the white, we need to secure those. Same way, tie them off. Now you can make a pom-pom for the top. I've got a silver bauble, small Christmas tree bauble here, so I think for a change I might put that on there. So I will snip off the silver that came with it. There we go, success. More green fur everywhere. So I'm going to tie that on there like that. Just for a change. Yeah, cut off the excess, we don't need that. Now I've got a little green G from my stash. No idea where it came from. So I'm going to sew that onto the front of my Grinchy hat. So there's my Grinchy hat. I've just discovered this in my stash, so what I'm going to do, because I think that's a little bit bare there, I'm going to add a little bit of fuzzy stuff around there. Oh, that's cute. So I don't need too much, about so much I think it's about 2 inches perhaps. A little bit of glue at the front of that there. Oops. And put the fuzzy stuff there. And we should fold it around the back. Onto the back of the bauble. There we go. And hold that in place till it sets. The next stage is to get our pipe cleaner. I'm just going to put a little curl on the top there and wind it around a little bit. There you go, to secure that so it doesn't poke through the top. And just pop it in the top there. And another little curly whirly on it. And that will allow us a slight little bit of bend in the hat. I'm going to put a small bit of stuffing at the top of the hat just to give it a little bit of body. Just a little bit. Push it up there with my ancient pencil. There we go. A little bit there. And now it's time to attach it onto our Grinchy gnome. So let me stretch it a little bit. For me, I need to make sure that G is in the front. There we go. And we'll put it over his head. Bring it down his body somewhat. And then if you wanted to change hats on him from season to season, you don't have to glue it down, of course. You can just leave him as is. And I think I'm just going to leave him as is for now. And because you've got that little bit of wire in there, you can bend his hat a little bit. So there's our little Grinch. By all means, glue him down. Glue him down under there, lift the lid and glue him down. Other than that, he's done. And you can move his arms as well. I mean, you can bend them to a certain extent inwards. You could have him holding a sign, a Christmas sign, or, you know, go away Santa or something. You can puff up his tush to make him brush his beard down. This is lovely fur fabric for a Grinch style gnome, for sure. So there he is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment and share. And as I always say, if the video is of use to you in any way whatsoever, especially in a monetary form, I'd love it if you gave a donation to your local animal welfare, your local animal charity. Anyway, that's all for now. And a Merry Christmas for 2021, and let's hoping we got a better 2022. Okay, ta-ra, bye, hwyl nawr. So I decided to glue his hat down after all, as it fell off when I was wiggling him around. So a little bit of glue under there. Not too much. Round under, over his nose, and squidge it in. There, hold it there for a sec.